Hi Stampers, it's Christine from Christine's Stamping Spot. Happy Monday. Monday, March 15th already. Oh my goodness, half the month is gone. But it is feeling like spring, so that's fantastic. So today we are going to focus on an older set called Inspiring Iris. I think this has been around for at least one or two of the large annual catalogs, but this is the first time that I've actually used it. I just got this not too long ago, and you can find it on page 118 of the large annual catalog. It's this one right here, kind of with in all the floral sections there. And it's actually a pretty large set. It's got 16 pieces to it, so it's quite lovely. It's a two-step set. So we're kind of going to keep it very simple today, kind of stamps, paper, ink, maybe the odd little embellishment, but we're not going to kind of go over the top with dies or anything. This does not have dies that coordinate with it. So I'm going to show you the card that we're going to make, and it is this one. This was inspired, I found it on a website called Priscilla's Paper Crafts. And so I thought, oh, this is really pretty, because I know my grandmother always used to have irises in her garden in the spring. And I've got a couple in mine, but my grandmother's were always so beautiful, and they were always really dark purple ones. So I'm going to show you how we made this card. So we are going to start with a piece of Gorgeous Grape, 8.5 by 5.5, our standard base. And again, I will post all of these measurements and supplies for you on the post. Okay, so that's going to be our base. And then we're going to do a layer of basic white. And this is actually our hydrangea paper, our DSP called Hydrangea Hill Designer Series paper. I wanted something green in here to kind of break up all the purple that was going on. So I did find this green pattern on the back of one of the hydrangea pieces. So what I did with this was, and I don't know if you can tell, but I ran it through the stitched rectangle stitched rectangle die, and it gave it a little bit of a stitch all the way around the edges. So we are just going to stick that on top of a piece of basic white, and it has a very small border around it, like about 1/8 of an inch. We just want a little bit of that white to peek through, like so. So then we can put this on top of our Gorgeous Grape base. And I did cut it a little bit smaller. Usually our layers are about 5 1/4 by 4, but I believe I cut this white at about 4 7/8 by 3.5 maybe. Anyway, it is a little bit smaller than our typical first layer, so it leaves a little bit of a wider border of the grape, which I quite like actually. Okay, so set that side again, and then we're going to do some stamping. Okay, so again, I ran this basic white piece, you can probably tell a little bit better on the white, through that same stitched rectangle die. Now, to cut these out, these are the rectangle dies. I used the second largest one to cut out the green. And for the white, I believe it was this 4th largest one that cut out the white. So I cut those out first, and you could do it in reverse order if you wanted to stamp first and then cut it out with a die. That's totally fine too. Okay, so we are going to stamp our iris on here. So the first image we're going to use is this one, which is a lined image. And we're going to stamp that in our Memento Black, just so it has a nice sort of black outline. So what I sometimes do with these larger stamps is I'll just sort of flip them over and just ink them up upside down. Okay, and then I'm going to put it a little bit towards the bottom because I'll probably do a greeting towards the top, like on my sample. So I brought out my foam mat because it is a photopolymer set, and it gives the stamp a little bit of wiggle room there so you get a nice image on it. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to fill in the color of the irises and also of the greenery here. So the second stamp we're going to use is this one, which is sort of what we're going to use to fill in the flowers. And for that, we're going to use some Gorgeous Grape ink. I think it's probably the darkest purple that we have. And this is one stamp, so it's connected. So we're just going to ink that up in our purple. And then we're going to line it up as best we can within this black. Now, excuse my head if it gets in the way. But the beauty of the clear is you can sort of get an idea of where to line this up, and don't panic if it's not exactly 100% inside. Hey, but that one's not too bad at all. Okay, so that's our Gorgeous Grape to color in our irises. And then to color in the greenery, I'm going to use this image here, which will fill in those leaves and give them a little bit of color. So for that, I'm going to use our Mossy Meadow ink. And we're going to ink up our stamp. And the same thing, we're just going to try to line this up. And as best we can. Now this, again, if it's not 100%, excuse me, don't worry about it. It gives it a little bit of character sometimes if our inks are a teeny bit off. So let's see. So there you go. Almost looks like it's kind of a painted watercolor kind of image, which I love. I think that is really great. Okay, so then I'm going to stamp a greeting, and this has some really nice greetings in it. You are somebody who makes everybody feel like somebody. I think that's wonderful. Sending hugs and prayers and lots of love for a great sympathy card. Wishing you the best makes a nice birthday card, or thanks for a nice thank you card. So kind of all occasions. And you also have some other flower images besides just the iris. So there's a carnation here and this sort of rose, and they're all the two-step stamps. So that's always fun and gives a great final look to your stamped image. So I think for this, I am going to just do another thanks like I did on my sample. So I'm going to ink that up in our Memento Black again. And I'm just going to put that on top here. Like so. It'll be a thank you card. Okay, so then what I did, and after I did my stamping, is I ran it through the subtle embossing folder. So I'm not sure if you can see those lines that kind of go vertical up and down. I thought it just gives it a little extra texture and doesn't leave it quite so plain. So on this one, I did a different greeting, wishing you the best. So I'm gonna swap that out because this one is already embossed in the folder. And then I'm going to just put that on top of another piece of the Gorgeous Grape. So I'll just put some adhesive on this white. And again, it's just a very small purple border that I wanted to have peek out. And because we've got a number of different layers on this card, you know, I wanted to keep the mats a little bit smaller. Okay, so then I added a little bit of ribbon. I still had some of this flax ribbon left over, which was, gosh, I don't know if that was last catalog or a mini, I can't remember, but this is a little bit stiffer and quite nice, and I thought it went nice with this image. So I measured, I would say about 3.5 inches. And then I just folded it sort of offset like so. And then I'm gonna stick it behind so it kind of peeks out. Now we may have to trim these down a little bit if they hang over, but I'm just going to put some of the Stampin' Seal on this edge for now and just sort of offset this ribbon however you like it. And we'll put that towards the side, towards the top, and just kind of stick that down on the snail. Okay, so that will hold it in place. And then I was gonna just pop this up with some dimensionals. You could just put it flat onto your card base, but I thought, well, we'll add a few dimensionals and that will also hold our ribbon a little bit better as well. So I'll add those on. Okay. Sticky fingers here. Okay, here we go. So make sure your card is opening the right way. And we'll stick this right in the center, like so. Now this isn't sticking out too bad. I'm just going to trim this one down a little bit. Just so it doesn't hang over the edge. And there is your card. So quite simple, but still very lovely when it's done. And just, you know, with a little bit of an embossing folder, a little bit of ribbon, but you've got this nice sort of watercolor image there, which I really quite like, the two-step stamping technique for this particular card. So I hope you like that project. I hope you are, quote, inspired by the Inspiring Iris stamp set, and we'll give it a try and see what you come up with. You could definitely use some different color combinations as well, but that's our project for today. So if you would like to order anything for this project, please visit my website at christineludwig.stampinup.net and leave me a comment below. Tell me what you think, with spring coming and the spring irises hopefully not too far behind in our gardens. So enjoy your day and the rest of the week, and we will see you next time. Bye for now.